I did start pretty early. We got him sleep trained before 4 months. I remember that. Postpartum was so difficult with my son. I had no energy. I was so like the fog. I don't remember any of it. I saw one of my friends on Instagram talking about how her gut health supplements, helped her to feel better postpartum, and I reached out and I was like, what is this about?
You told me that you are like 4 pounds away
from pre-baby weight. Yes.
That is wild. And you're 3 months postpartum.
I honestly can't believe it myself.
Hi mama, you're doing amazing. I know the challenges of navigating through postpartum life, and I'm here to be a village in a world where the village is often missing. My name is Elo, and I'm your host of the New Mom in Town, the Postpartum Podcast. Today's guest is Kira, a mom of 2, a real estate agent, and a supermom that started sleep training at 8 weeks. Let's get into it. Kira, welcome, and congratulations on your second baby, which you are now finally done with your 4th trimester, because she's 3 months.
Yes, she's 3 months. I can't believe it.
That's so amazing. I'm so proud of you. Besides that, I know listeners don't know, but you are a mom of 2.
I am a mom of 2. I have a 2-year-old boy, and then this new one, she's 3 months.
I love that. Congratulations. So how has it been? How do you feel now having 2 babies? A toddler and a baby.
Yeah, it's definitely an adventure, but I love having 2. I always wanted 2, and I have a little boy and a little girl, so I can't wait to see them grow up together. And it's definitely been an adjustment, but it's also been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So do you feel any differences with the 2? I mean, of course, not of course, I don't know. Maybe it's different because he was a boy first, or because it was your first time being a mom, and then now do you feel more comfortable that you had your daughter?
Yes, so I definitely feel a lot more comfortable this time around. I feel a lot less anxious. I've done it before. So the kids are obviously different, but some of the things that I was really stressed about with my son, I'm like, okay, she'll be fine. Like when I brought my son home from the hospital, he did not like the bassinet. And my husband and I were switching off all night long, being like, okay, you go get 3 hours of sleep. Okay, I'll get 3 hours of sleep. And someone sitting with him all night long in the swing because he wouldn't sleep. And it took my mom coming over to say, he can cry, he'll go to sleep. And with her, she made the transition to the bassinet from the hospital really nicely. And when she is crying for a little bit or making little noises, I'm not like, oh my God, is she breathing? Is everything okay?
You're a lot more chill.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Oh, she's so cute. Well, we had a little intermission because little Adeline is now going to be part of the podcast.
She is.
I love that. So you are feeling way more relaxed with the second baby.
Way more relaxed, way more in control. I feel like I'm really enjoying the baby stage this time around. When I had my son, it just feels like a blur. I honestly, I feel bad about it almost, because I can look at pictures and look at videos, but I don't remember the little moments that are like the everyday things. Even when I'm looking at videos, I'm like, I remember this happening, sort of, but it's not the same way that I'm taking in and soaking in every moment with her.
I am so glad that you said that, because postpartum for me, I feel like when I would look back at videos, like every month, I'm like, oh my God, he's a month older. I'm looking back at videos and I was just crying so hard because I thought, oh my gosh, why do I, 1, not remember this? And 2, I feel now that, I'm a mom for 6 months, I wish I was this mom and this confident mom back then, but I wasn't. And so I do have that mom guilt a lot. So that is normal then.
Yeah, that's totally normal, at least in my experience.
Okay, that's good to know. Also for all the other moms out there, just know that it's normal. It makes me feel better. I'm sure it makes any other mom feel better too, because I get it. It's like the first baby and we're just, I don't know, in La La Land? I don't know where we are.
Well, there's so much going
Flight
on.
or fright or whatever is going on,
Yeah.
So you are enjoying it. So you would say yes to having another baby for other moms. Like
For
what
other
you
moms,
say.
yes.
Yeah.
For other moms, I was like, well, I want to be done. I'm a 2 and done girl, but yes, definitely if you're thinking about the transition from 1 to 2, it has just been a totally different experience, and I can't wait to see them grow up together. I didn't want my son to be like alone, with just me and his dad. So
that's true. So at what age or how old postpartum were you that you felt like, okay, I can have another baby now?
it was so funny. I talked with my mom about this right in the beginning because I knew that I wanted 2 and I knew I wanted to have them close together. And so I was like 3 or 4 months postpartum and I was crying to my mom. I was like, I could never do this again. I don't know what I'm going to do. And my mom was like, relax, chill. No one is talking to you about this right now. You're 4 months postpartum. You're 5 months postpartum. Like, calm down. I was like, I don't think it's going to happen. It was probably 10 or 11 months. And then I was like, you know what? I'd be open to trying again.
Okay, so it's normal not to feel it right away.
Right away, yeah.
Okay.
And I knew I wanted to, and even then I was like, I can't.
And it's rough, especially with the regressions that come up and all these new things. So I feel like going through all of that once, now you're going to go through it again with Adeline.
Yes.
But I feel it's going to be much easier. You're feeling more confident about it.
Definitely.
Speaking of sleep, did you sleep train? Did you not sleep train? Are you for it? Are you against it? What do you feel about it?
I am a huge fan of sleep training.
Okay.
She is already sleep training.
What?
I read this book when I was newly postpartum with my son, called Bringing Up Baby, and she said that start sleep training at something like 8 weeks. And so I started doing that with my son because they said once they're older than 4 months, it gets to be harder and harder. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try that. And it gave us a lot of freedom, and he slept better and we slept better and everyone was happier.
I love that.
And so it's so nice and has been so nice to know that he's somewhere that's safe on the monitor. I can see him. He's not bothered by us. We're not bothered by him. Or this was with my son and with her too, to just know they're getting proper rest and we're getting proper rest, and that lets everyone be the best version of themselves.
Right. So now that you started sleep training at 8 weeks, even with Adeline, how is it going now that you're 3 months in?
Yeah, so it's going really, really well. She does eat a lot more during the day, so I'll feed her as often as she wants during the daytime so that I'm sure that she's like nice and full. And normally she goes to sleep at around 8 p.m. and then she gets up at 11. I'll feed her at 11, and then from 11 a.m. until about 5:30 or 6 she sleeps, which is great.
Wow.
Just in the bassinet right next to me so I can see her all night if she needs something, but it's really nice.
That's amazing. That makes a huge difference. Really,
it makes a huge difference.
On your mental, on your physical, on everything.
Yes.
And even for the baby. So do you feel like she still takes great naps during the day?
She takes one really good nap around 10 a.m. and then she usually takes a little nap around 4 or 5. So
that's really good though. At least you already kind of have a routine and a schedule going for you.
Yes.
And since she's been a newborn, which is crazy, I feel like a lot of moms don't get that done until the baby is a little like 4 or 5 months, and then they start a little routine going for themselves.
And it's hard. I didn't start as early with Altaf. I did start pretty early. We got him sleep trained before 4 months. I remember that because it was so important for us all to be able to sleep, and he liked his crib, so I was a lot less anxious about it. And we had one of those Nanit monitors that you can see them breathing. So he had a hard time sleeping in general, and so he started sleeping better, noticeably better, when he was in the crib as opposed to the bassinet. So that was kind of what sparked the sleep training journey with him. And then I do a very loose version of the Ferber method.
Okay.
So I am not a huge cry it out person, but I do definitely give him or them both the space to cry a little bit.
So you did the Ferber method, but more gentle.
Yeah, a very gentle version of the Ferber method. So all that means is that I usually give the the kids about 5 minutes to cry, and then I'll check on them, go pat them, go rock them, and then put them back for the longest I've ever done, I think, is maybe just over 10 minutes. And after that, if they're not going to sleep, I'm like, okay, you're not ready to sleep yet. It's okay.
Right. Okay. We did the same thing. And honestly, at first, being a first-time mom, it was super hard for me to even think about it. And I know that happens for every other mom too. And like the first 5 minutes, like we were talking about, it feels like an eternity of them just crying. But I did learn that crying out a little bit does make them, a little more tired, and it helps with the self-soothing. I think besides just sleeping for longer hours, the self-soothing that came with it is absolutely mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
That alone is so worth it. I would say that definitely sleep training is so important. There's some people though that they have kids that are they're good sleepers, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I would say, sleep training is definitely a great idea.
Yeah, and it helps the kids, it helps us, it helps me feel like an adult and a wife and a human, because once the kids go to bed, and obviously we're not at that stage yet where she goes to bed and we have time, but as my son got older, you definitely are like, okay, we can watch a movie, he's sleeping.
Exactly.
We can have like an at-home date night and he's going to be okay. So
that's really nice. I love that. And so obviously we can hear her and we can see her. She is breastfeeding right now. So because I was going to ask if you're breastfeeding or if you're doing formula, combo feeding. So you're breastfeeding, and did you do the same thing? I mean, you breastfed your first one too?
Yes. Both my kids have been exclusively breastfed. It has been pretty different for both of them. I have always been, I know that you can hear her little noises. She is a good little eater. She latched in the hospital right away, which is crazy. Oh my goodness, babes. There you go. She latched in the hospital right away, which was crazy to me because my son had a really hard time. I had to pinch it, put it in his mouth, be like, this is for you. It was so difficult. I remember crying, being worried he wasn't going to get enough food. And then when my milk came in with my son, I had crazy oversupply.
Wow. Crazy oversupply.
And I pumped a lot because I just had one baby, and I don't remember very much from that time period, but I do remember having a freezer full of milk. With her, the main difference has been she eats a lot more frequently and more heavily, but also, so that means I do have good supply, but I don't have the time to sit and pump, so I don't have as good of a backstock as that I had with my son. So the only way I've been keeping up with putting any milk in the freezer is I use that little Haka, that manual pump on the other side usually, and that's how I've been building freezer bags, because I don't have the time with my toddler to sit and pump for another 15 minutes after she's eating.
So that's also a difference then when you do have your second child up. That's one thing. It's when it comes to pumping and saving up milk. Because you don't have time. Besides, I would say at nights, I guess. But at nights, you're trying to be an adult and a human being.
Yeah, and a wife.
And a wife, That's right, because that's rough. And I know that I look on your Instagram all the time, and I'm just like, how are you doing this? She's cooking meals. She has a baby. She has a toddler. I'm just like, this is gold. This is amazing.
Thank you.
I can barely make a coffee. But I look at you and I'm just like, that's amazing. You give me inspiration to, get better and get things done. And it's possible. I know it seems like at first I thought there's no way I can get anything done. I can't even go out and go on a walk. But as time comes and goes, we do learn to get better at it. But to any mom out there, don't get discouraged when you see other moms. If anything, let it be inspiring. But also, not everybody's the same.
Yeah.
Everybody can cope differently. Some people feel, less energetic. But I know that you were telling me about plexus.
Yes.
So that kind of helped you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that the biggest difference in my postpartum experience between my son and my daughter is that postpartum was so difficult with my son. I had no energy. I was so the fog. I don't remember any of it. I was so I don't want to use the word depressed because I know there are people who go through things that are really hard, but I didn't feel like myself for a really long time. And I just knew having her, I could not do that again because I had a toddler. So I was like, I don't have the time to nap when the baby naps. I don't have the time to, you know,
dwell,
to sit and hold the baby and cry, you know? So it has to be better this time. So I saw one of my friends on Instagram talking about how her gut health supplements, you know, helped her to feel better postpartum. And I reached out and I was like, what is this about?
Right.
And so I started taking Plexus, and I swear honestly that not only has, you know, just getting back into shape been way different this time, I have the energy, I have the mental clarity, I am, you know, keeping up with everything, and I don't have that, you know, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. crash. So when the kids are napping, I do have time to cook and get stuff done.
There you go. And the cool thing is that it's safe for you to have those supplements, because I know that it's like you put it in your water. It's kind of like a liquid IV, but it's not liquid IV. So it's safe to have those while you're also breastfeeding, obviously.
Yes, obviously you want to check with, you know, your doctors,
Right.
with all supplements, but it's gut health, so it's gonna help feed all the good stuff and weed out all the bad stuff. So there is a hydration one that is not liquid IV, but like it. But my favorite one is my pink drink, and that is, you know, feeding my gut with the good things that it needs and giving me that clean energy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I need to try this already because you told me that you are like 4 pounds away
From pre-baby weight, yes.
That is wild. And you were 3 months postpartum.
I honestly can't believe it myself. I swear.
That's
because
amazing.
I have not, it's not been at all the same as with my son. It took me about 11 months with my son to lose the baby weight, because that's something that was important to me personally. I know that everybody's different. And I dieted really restrictively, and I did Pilates every day. And again, I don't have the time to go to Pilates every day. So I've not been doing that, and I eat normal. My food is always on my Instagram.
Right, that is true. But that I also don't want to discourage any mom, because like for me, for example, I like you said, I work out, I'm eating and I'm not eating, but also as a mom, you're trying to eat because you need to have a supply
Totally.
of milk. Everybody's different, of
Exactly.
course, and
Yes.
I think also another thing could be that with the second baby, you do feel you're already like less stressed or
Absolutely.
anxious.
Absolutely.
And then just
Less stress,
knowing
less
the right
anxious.
way to go about things, and you know, doing the gut health, I'm sure has helped you a lot. So that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Absolutely. It's a combination of all of those things.
That's amazing.
Just being more confident in general. And I also, I wanted to say something similar. It's like everybody's goals and what feels healthy feels different for everybody. So it's not to say it's like a one size fits all.
Exactly, and I love that so much. So how are you juggling being a working mom, because I know that you are a realtor here
Yes.
in the community.
Yes.
So how are you doing that?
Yeah, so I'm slowly making the transition back to work. I did take a maternity leave. When I joined the brokerage, I'm with Compass. When I joined the brokerage, I wanted to join a team that was really going to be supportive of the fact that I'm a mom, because my kids are the number one most important thing to me. Family is the most important thing to me, and then my career. And so I just wanted to find a team that was supportive, and I love my team lead, Prudence Stein-Green. With the Stein-Green group, she is and has been super supportive of just like, take your maternity leave, take your time, and whatever you're ready to do step by step, we'll get back to it. So I'm in the transition back to work right now, and it's been really good. It feels really healthy. It's kind of fun to go back and be an adult and talk to people at the office. And, you know, when I do showings, baby girl comes with me, which is great. And that was one of the pieces of advice that she had given to me as a real estate agent, you know, prior to having the baby, because, you know, when I was pregnant, she said, when you are marketing yourself, like on your Instagram, on your social media, if it's really apparent that you're a mom and you make those boundaries really clear, the clients that want to work with you know that you're a mom. So they know, hey, baby girl's going to come with me until she's, you know, whatever, however old I decide, you know, baby girl's going to be with me. I might have to, you know, dash out because I have to pick up my son. So she said, just be really clear about that, and the people that will gravitate towards you will understand that.
That is very true, and I love that. That's amazing that you're taking her to showings, and that really, like, I would want you to be my realtor, because I would say, yeah, this is awesome. I trust her 100%. She even brings her baby. That's amazing. No, really. And then the fact that you know your boundaries and you have a good leader.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
And I love my kids getting to see me do the things that I'm passionate about. I think it's really important to, you know, bring our kids into our world and show them, like, hey, like, you know, I'm your mom, but also we sell houses.
I love that. That's really powerful. What would you tell your 2-week postpartum self now?
My 2-week postpartum self, I would say that self-care is the most important thing for the whole family, like self-care for you as the mom. And I think that a lot of times when we say the word self-care, we tend to think of, like, you know, bubble baths and like massages, which are great, like, absolutely. But it's also like, just make sure you're drinking enough water, you know, get out into the sunshine, like, try and, you know, eat as healthy as you can, like, things to make you feel stronger. And if you sleep as much as you can, you know, when you feel stronger, the whole family feels stronger. And sometimes it can feel selfish, but everybody benefits.
That's a good one. I love that. And I mean, you just basically also answered my next question, but what parenting advice or mom tip would you give to our new moms out there?
I think the thing that has been most helpful for me as a mom, because I'm a working mom, but I'm also a stay-at-home mom, because I work from home a lot of the time unless I'm with a client. And I would say, bring your kids into your world. Like, even if it's slower, even if it makes a mess, it's so helpful for them to be a little bit more independent. And sometimes I do feel a little bit guilty that you go on Instagram and I'll see all these moms that have made these, like, incredible, like, sensory tables. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not doing that. But I think that, I think that it's so helpful and such a weight off of my mind that my son can sit next to me while I'm folding laundry and, like, throw socks around. And yes, it takes forever to fold laundry, but it's fun, and we spend the time together, and he also gets a vision of, like, what life is, and I don't have to wait to do absolutely everything until they're sleeping.
And I love that so much, because if you really think about it, that's how I was raised. My dad had a restaurant. He would take me there, and I would sit there and I'd watch him do things, or, you know, just in general, I think that does teach your child a lot of normalcy as well.
Yeah, not to expect to be entertained 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. And of course, you know, sometimes I do fun stuff for them and everything like that, but I think that guilt from social media, it gets to me.
Yeah.
And so I think that as an older mom telling a newer mom, I would say, don't sweat it. They're the happiest being with you.
Oh, I love that so much. Well, thank you so much for being here and for talking with me about your experience and being a mom of two, that's working, and you're just such a bright light. So I really hope that other moms get to hear this and feel that energy that is coming from you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Of course.
That made my whole day.
Oh, you're so sweet. No, of course. I really do mean it. Thank you so much for joining me today and being part of this conversation. If you found this episode helpful or inspiring, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Your support truly helps other mamas find us. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and become part of our village so you never miss a new episode. We're all in this together. Until next time, mamas, take care and bye for now.